Hello, my name's Claire and welcome to Spooky Crafts. Today we're going to be making monster toilet rolls. As you can see, I've made a few earlier. So we've got a ghost, which you could try making at home, little devil with a cheeky smile, and a pumpkin. I'm going to try and make a Frankenstein toilet roll. So, what you'll need for this activity is paint, googly eyes, scissors, paper, glue, and your toilet roll. So, I've already pre-painted this green, but I'm going to do another layer of green to make the colour extra pop. So, let's start by painting and you can choose to do any character you like. So you can take inspiration from what I'm doing today, or you can make your own character up, your own monster. Okay, once you've got your colour on, we're ready to rumble. So I would like to give my Frankenstein some accessories. I think I'd like to start with their hair. So let me see what colour card I would like their hair to be. Ooh, we've got this really nice red that I'd like to use. So I'm going to cut out the shape that I want their hair to be. I think I'm going to do it zigzaggy. And you can measure it up. I think that's perfect. I'm going to make some zigzags along this paper. If you don't have any coloured card at home or any coloured paper, you could cut some different colours and textures out of magazines, stick them on like a collage, or you could just use plain white paper and paint it or colour it in a different colour. So now I've got their hair, I want to stick this hair around my loo roll, around the top. So I'm going to need some glue to do this. Here's my glue. I'm using Mod Podge, but you could use PVA. So I'm going to put a decent amount of glue right along the bottom to make sure it's secure. Like so. Here we go, Frankenstein. There's your hair. Now, sometimes glue doesn't like to stick down, so you might have to hold it in place for a little while, encourage it to stick, press it quite a few times, but eventually it should stick down nicely. There you go. It's not done too bad. And with glue like PVA and Mod Podge, it will always dry transparent, so don't worry if it looks like you've got it everywhere, because that will dry. There we go. It's looking like a crown. Amazing. Right, now Frankenstein has big googly eyes. So I've got a pack of googly eyes here. If you haven't got googly eyes at home, you could cut out circles from white paper and then fill in little pupils with a black pen, and that'll look just as good. Here we go. I'm going to give him 2 different sized eyes, so he looks super funny. So here's my googly eyes. I'm going to stick them on here. So we need glue for this. A little bit of glue, dab on the back of the googly eye. This is going to be the front. Stick down his eye. There's one. And the other eye. There's 2. So it is much easier if your googly eyes are self-adhesive on the back so that they come sticky. Mine don't, so it's just a little bit more tricky using glue, but whatever you can get hold of is great. Cool, right, I'm now going to start with their mouth, and I think I'm going to cut out their mouth and do a zigzaggy mouth, and I might use a really bright colour, like an orange this time. I'm going to make them look really worried with a wibbly wobbly, ziggy zaggy mouth. Like so. Let me see, measure it up. Oh, perfect. And stick the mouth down. Looks like a moustache. Brilliant. Now Frankenstein has 2 cogs coming out of their head, so I'm going to get a little bit creative here. Use this lovely bright yellow. I'm going to cut out 2 cogs, like bolt shapes. There's 1. One bolt. Two bolt. That one seems a bit bigger. Let me measure them. Doesn't matter too much. Doesn't have to be symmetrical. So this might be very fiddly, but we're going to give it a go. 1 bolt on one side. And how I did that was, make sure that's completely down. I took my bolt and at the end, I just bent the end a bit, like that. And then I've put the glue here so that it sticks on like that. So glue on the end, generous little blob. And on the other side, plop it on. And there is my little Frankenstein. I'm so happy with him, he's gorgeous. So I'm going to show you how to make another version of this with decoupage instead of paint. So, where is the one I did a bit earlier? Let me grab this out of the way. So you're going to be using a lot of this. And I've got this tube. It's a lot smaller, but it's going to work just as well. Get a bit of paint off there. And I'm going to show you how to decoupage. So this is already half done. All this green paper covering the tube is something I did a bit earlier. Now I'm going to show you how to fill this boring brown tube with paper so that it looks really bright and lovely. So what you need is glue again and paper. So the colour that I had for this was this lovely rich green, which is what I'm going to be sticking on here. And I think I'm going to turn this one into a little witch. Lovely. Right. You're going to take your paper and get rid of some of this rubbish. And you're going to cut it into lots of little pieces. It doesn't matter what size or shape, as long as they're not too big. So something like that size is lovely. And the reason we don't want it to be too big is because big paper being stuck down on here will ripple and it won't dry smoothly. So the littler the paper, the easier it'll be to stick and the smoother it'll dry. So you're going to take your glue and you're essentially going to collage it or decoupage it. So you can take your glue and cover your roll like this. So you can do this instead of painting, or you can do it as well as painting. You can always paint over this with different patterns and shapes and marks. Like that, nice and thick and generous. You're going to take a little piece of paper and you're going to put it on. It doesn't matter where, anywhere will do. Hold it in place. It will get a little bit messy and glue over the top of that paper. Now, I'm using card here, so I have to wrestle with it a bit to keep it down. It's a bit stubborn, but I like using a little bit of glue on my finger to massage it down, because there, it's stayed now. Now, I know the glue looks really messy and it looks like it's covering it, but glue will dry see-through. So at the end of this, you won't even see it. There we go. Some more. I'm going to use my finger again to massage it down. Get some more paper. Again. It's a lovely textured way of covering something with paper, and at the end it'll look lovely, like patchwork, like a witch who's wearing a patchwork dress. So we've only got this little bit left to do now. I'm going to keep filling it in, one little piece of paper at a time. Make sure you keep gluing it generously, otherwise it won't stick properly. If you don't like using your fingers, you can just use the paintbrush. And once you get used to doing this, it's quite easy. At first you do have to wrestle with it a bit. So painting is usually easier, but if you fancy a challenge, have a go at this. And we have finished decoupaging that now. So it's green all the way around. The last thing to do is to get rid of all the excess glue off your paintbrush and just take off all the heavy glue. It'll dry see-through anyway, so you don't have to worry too much. But the less blotchy it is, the neater it'll be. But then again, if you want a really spooky little character, you might want to keep it really blotchy. Blotchy and bubbly. There we go. So it's a beautiful green now. So we can start adding to it to make it a real character. So like I was saying, I want it to be a witch, so witches need a hat. So what colour hat should I choose? I quite like the idea of an orange hat, but I think I've used a lot of orange. So perhaps a purple hat might be nice. So we need a big triangle. Maybe that triangle's too big, so we need to make it a bit smaller. I want it to be a very tall and pointy hat. So that might be about right. Maybe a little bit smaller. I think that's about right. And to get it to fit round the shape of the roll, you might want to give it a little wiggle to make it curved so that it will sit nicely on it. Wiggle, wiggle, make it curvy, especially if it's card, because card's a lot harder to work with, but you can try and make it malleable. There we go, that's got a nice curve in it now, like the roll. Pop a bit of glue on that hat, and we're going to stick it down, like so. Now, like with Frankenstein earlier, sometimes they don't want to stick, so you might have to hold it for a minute. I'm going to decoupage this down though so it extra sticks. Glaze it over, get rid of that residue glue. There we go. Got the start of our little witch. Okay, so I want to give this witch some eyes, but I think I've used Googly Eyes a lot recently, so I am going to use buttons instead. Ooh, a bit spooky. So I'm going to use glue on the back of these buttons and hope that they stick. 1. And 2. Oh, she's a scary witch. And I think every witch needs a little mouth, so I'm going to give her, what coloured lips should we give her? Now, I want to give her some strange coloured lips. I'm going to give her some orange lips. I'm going to do her a nice little smile to make her less scary. Even though it's Halloween, she's going to be a friendly witch. Here we go. Oh, she's down. There we go. Bit of glue in the lips. Oh, how cute. And then with a pen, I'm going to decorate her hat a little bit. Put some stars on her hat. Some magic stars. And one more. Oh, I'm well happy with her. Look how cute she is. Aha. So, that is how to make monster toilet rolls. So, for an extra peek, we've got the lovely witch. We've got Frankenstein, a pumpkin, which is also decoupage, like the witch with paper all the way around. A painted ghost, which is very easy to make with just white paint, googly eyes and a black blob for the mouth. And then last but not least, a little devil. If you've enjoyed making spooky crafts with us today, we would love to see your creations. So please tag any photographs online at the Old Courts, hashtag 15minute makes. Thank you so much. We'll be back making more 15-minute makes tomorrow at 1 PM. See you there.
If you've enjoyed watching the Old Courts live and you'd like to make a donation to support the work we do, please head over to www.theoldcourts.com/donate. This year's been incredibly difficult for most arts organisations and we're no different. But with a huge effort and support from you and from our funders, we've managed to secure our organisation and the jobs of every staff member. We've also provided 343 artists with paid work for the Old Courts Live. And our volunteers have delivered over 700 food parcels and made 600 calls to isolated local residents. But the battle isn't over yet. We're currently closed to the public with zero income and we don't know how long this closure is going to last. If you can help by making a donation, then you're helping to secure your arts centre. We're hoping to be around for a long, long time. Thank you.